Yo, Mana Squad, if you like any of the cards you see in today's video, make sure to hit up the affiliate link down below to TCG Player. You can help look up some of your local game stores in the process and help show the channel some love. And you know you got to look good while you play in order to play good. So make sure you hit up our link to Into the AM as well. We have the discount code down in the description below. Look, you got to listen to Kenneth the Heathen. He always says something about dripping in space and screaming. We don't know what it means, but do what the man says. And last but not least, hit up Heavy Play. Heavy Play is going to have some of the nicest playmats and deck boxes out there. Their magnet system between their deck box and dice trays and playmat is amazing, especially if you're playing at like bars, restaurants, stuff like that. You got to get up and move. There is no better way to keep all your stuff together, and you can show the channel some love in the process. Stay petty. Yo, welcome back to One More Mana. My name is Derek, and today I'm getting into the top 5 most bruh-worthy things in Tarkir Dragonstorm. Before we get into the list, got to make an announcement. The Mana Squad will be in Vegas for MagicCon Vegas, so we'll have more announcements about specifics, everything like that to come in the coming weeks as we get a little bit closer. But make sure you know the Petty will be there in person. If y'all want to come experience it, definitely come check it out. We'll have a link down where you can get your tickets and everything in the description. All right, let's get into this list. If y'all aren't familiar, these bruh videos is where I vent, where everything that I try to let out and vent to my cat, my fiance, and all my friends about when they look at me and say, Derek, I don't know what magic is. Why are you yelling at me? I come here instead and like to talk about all the things that make me feel some type of way. Everything that makes me say, bruh, it could be positive, negative, or literally everything in between. I need to start, look, Tarkir. I started playing, I learned what magic was about like a year after OG Tarkir block. So getting into Magic and Commander around that time, people were still gushing over how amazing the first trip to Tarkir was. The OG Cons of Tarkir set has to be up there with like the best sets of all time. From a perspective of like the card design was insane. It was awesome. I remember hearing how legendary like drafts were. There were fetch lands in the set. It was amazing for Commander, which at the time was not like a guarantee for every set. Having for the 3-color clans and everything like that, it was like a Commander player's dream. The legendary creatures were awesome, and probably most importantly, the world building was like perfect. I love world building. So much of Magic for me. I don't care so much about the overarching like story with the main characters. Like I get it, even in OG Tarkir there was Ugin and Nicol Bolas, and I think Sarkhan was there. I never cared so much about like the main characters in the story in that sense. It was so much more important to me that the world was being built. It was like the little stories, the day-to-day, everything that it felt like the world feeling lived in is what made it so awesome. Y'all hear me gush constantly about Innistrad and how much I love Innistrad, and so much of what I love about Innistrad is so true about planes like Tarkir, in that it really does. I want to watch a movie. I want to watch a documentary about the history of this plane. I want to watch a documentary about the day-to-day life of what the Jeskai do, what the Sultai do, all of these different things. And I will find myself just down wiki rabbit holes trying to learn about obscure characters and all these different things because these worlds seem so awesome. And so getting to go back to Tarkir at this point, being like a fully ingrained player and being into Magic for as long as I have, it's awesome. Like it's so exciting to get into. I was joking. We were doing a recording recently, and I was joking with Seth and Ken that it almost feels like this is universes beyond Magic the Gathering, in that it feels like the most Magic thing to ever Magic getting back to Tarkir. So all the positive thoughts. I mean, one of the first deck techs I ever did on this channel was for my Sidisi Brood Tyrant deck, one of the legends in original Tarkir set. So much is tied for so many Magic and especially Commander players to that set. So yes, getting to no pressure Tarkir Dragonstorm, but yeah, you got a lot to live up to in that everybody is so excited, and so far it has lived up to it. I have not seen, we got a little taste of this with Foundations, where people are just so excited to have something just feel like Magic. And look, I'm not even like a Universes Beyond hater by any means. And in fact, I even enjoy the ones that I don't know anything about, because it's like an opportunity for me to like fill all these knowledge gaps of which is a lot of things I just didn't know existed. So that's super cool. I don't even dislike that, but something about getting Foundations and getting this Tarkir set and it just feeling like Magic has just been the most amazing thing ever. So I've seen positivity, which, yeah, that exists even on the internet. It's a thing. So like seeing the positivity, all that is wild. So yes, let me get into this. Let me stop ranting. Well, that part of the rant. Now there's new parts of the rant. We're gonna rant on this top 5, and the 5 things that are most making me say bruh in this set. At number 5, should be no surprise it's made the list. Look, Ugin, or Ugin, his friends call him Eugene. He's always causing problems wherever he pops up. Every version of this card seems to be some sort of asshole to some varying degree. And Ugin, Eye of the Storms, is no different. It's a 7 mana planeswalker with 7 loyalty. We're going to skip the static abilities because that's what's going to make me feel some type of way. We're going to talk about, look, you plus it, you draw a card, you gain some life. You 0, you ramp. You ultimate, and it lets you cast all your Eldrazi for free because ultimates are always whatever. But the static ones. When you cast this spell, you exile up to 1 target permanent that's 1 or more colors. All right, look, it's 7 mana, whatever. It's like an Eldrazi. Okay, cool. You cast it, you exile something. Even if they counter it, you still get it. Whatever. It's a thing. I'm fine. And then let's just skip the rest of the text because why is it here? Whenever you cast a colorless spell, exile up to 1 target permanent that's 1 or more colors. Whenever you cast a colorless spell. So, to be fair, it does feel like a less powerful Hullbreaker Horror, because like Hullbreaker Horror also can't be countered and triggers off of any spell. So you could just sit there tripping your ass off and then just bounce the entire board. And it kind of works as a counter spell in that sense because you can return spells. So it's like not quite as powerful. But the thing that gets me for this is like, look, if you're playing a Hullbreaker Horror, you know exactly what you're doing. I don't think I've ever seen someone like accidentally be like, oh, I just bounced the whole board. Didn't know I could do that. No. You're playing it and then like cantripping, storming your ass off and bouncing the board because that's your win con. Seeing Eugene is very much like the big splashy. We just got an Eldrazi precon, big splashy, colorful artifact decks. It does feel to me like there's going to be a period of time that people play this thinking it's just a removal spell, not realizing you are the problem. No, to some degree. The other thing about this is the more petty reason, the bruh. Something about OG Eugene, if you just exile everything, you just get rid of it in one go. The best comparison I can make is like, look, if you come up to me and hit me in the face in just one punch, like I'm not okay with it and I don't understand it, but it happened. But if you come up to me and then just flick me and then flick me again, and you flick me so many times that it ends up causing the same amount of damage as that punch, something about that is so much more insulting and just hurtful. And why would you do that? And that's what this Eugene is doing, because you're not just bam, the board's exiled. You're casting a colorless spell. I'm going to exile that. That's gone. Oh, you know what? I got to cast another colorless spell. Silly me. I'm going to exile that. And then it goes one by one until you get to the point where I feel like you were planning this. You're acting like it's an accident, but you're not. And it's more insulting. And bro, I will not stand for it. All I'm going to say is if you see someone play Eugene, know what they're trying to do. They're trying to get rid of everything and pretend like, oh no, it's just targeted removal. Oh, I'm just interacting. No, you're ruining my day. You're taking my cards. Eugene, I try to love you. I can't. Number 4, the number 4 most bruh worthy thing in this set. And we're going to have to go with Steward of the Harvest. Steward of the Harvest, it's a 3 and a green. Oh, green doing its thing. It's a 4 mana 3/3. It's a human druid, and when this creature enters, exile up to 3 target lands from your graveyard. So you're exiling lands from your graveyard. Why would you do that? Because creatures you control now have activated abilities of all lands exiled with this creature. Look, I first read this. This is one of the precon cards. I first saw this Reddit. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like, you could just, it's an interesting way to turn all your creatures into mana dorks. If you have interested activated abilities like a Full Rat Stronghold, something like that, all your creatures can now pull stuff from the graveyard. And I started thinking of all these really cool synergies. But then I thought about what people actually are going to use it for. And I was like, oh, this just is literally just all my tokens are strip mines or all my tokens are Gaia's Cradles. It's always going to be that, isn't it? Like, I want it to be so many things. I want it to be something creative and weird. And look at this weird thing I did. And no, I'm just going to get strip mined every time I see this card. And look, the art's cool. But look at the smug ass little look on this druid's face. Because you look at that look, that's the look of someone that knows they're going to strip mine all your lands away in about 2 seconds, or that they're about to tap for 7,000 mana because, oh, I have 20 tokens. They're all Gaia's Cradles. Whoopsies. And the thing is, they gain the abilities. They're not even copies. So stuff that are legendary lands, it's not even limited to that. You're just gaining the abilities. I have 30 Cabal Coffers. Yeah, look, if someone plays this, even if it's already in play and you know what they exile, they can still flicker it, blink it. I don't know the difference, but they're both things that do things. Don't let them do it. It's the same thing as Ugin. You see somebody do it, know what they're trying to do, know what they're trying to do to you. They are going to strip mine lock you, I promise. And even if they don't, they'll do it next time. Bruh, Steward of the Harvest. It's a good card. It's a cool card. It's a powerful card. doing too much. And now at number 3, the number 3 most bro worthy thing in this set, and this is the happiest of bros, Kotis, the Fang Keeper. We got Villainous Wealth as a creature, y'all. This is great. It is 1 in Sultai for a 2/1 zombie warrior with indestructible, with the text basically just Villainous Wealth. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, you Villainous Wealth. You exile the top X cards of the library and cast anything X or less where X is the amount of damage dealt to that player. This is really cool. It obviously does specify combat damage, so you can't just find other things like that. You have to deal combat damage. It's a 2/1 to start. You got to work for it. So much, I've talked about this in quite a few videos recently where I kind of vented about feeling like if you build a Villainous Wealth focus deck in today's world, it's so easy to either create infinite or too much mana that it stops being playing your opponent's cards and just turns into more of a combo to get someone to scoop. That's why I love Valgavoth, or I try to find ways to put Villainous Wealth in non-ramp heavy or ramp focused decks because I want to be able to play the opponent's cards. I want it to be like a cool multi-clone effect and not just a combo piece. This captures that so well. And one of the coolest things I thought of design-wise for this bread, it's like when you hit somebody, you can only do so much damage to them because it's commander damage. So you can't make your commander a 30-30 and hit them and cast a third of their deck because they're dead. You lose all the cards. And it even adds that extra layer because it's this weird Voltron thing of you don't want to kill any one player until it's the end of the game. Because if you just go crazy and hit somebody for 12 commander damage, like turn 5 or whatever it is, and get to cast a bunch of their spells, if you hit them again, you lose everything you just got. So now you're incentivized to spread the love around the table to try to get everyone's cards at the risk of losing everyone's cards, which, look, I get it. I know R&D's a lot smarter than I am, but sometimes when they pull things off like this, I'm like, oh shit. Big brain things. Like, that's so cool. Like, yes, you're incentivizing a longer, more commander-focused game while at the same time letting you do big splashy things. It's such a cool design. I love this card. And yeah, it's going to incentivize you to spread it. It reminds, and it's almost like card advantage in a weird way. So you can focus so heavy on the Voltron aspects and all these things, but you need to keep these opponents alive to get the card advantage. It's beautiful. It's Villainous Wealth. The only gripe I have, because look, I got to complain. We're on the internet. I got to complain about something. The only complaint that I have is that I was hoping that if we ever got it, and I have thought about this, of getting a Villainous Wealth as a commander, that the demon in the Villainous Wealth, I know the Rakshasa, they changed the design, or now they have the more, I guess, more demonic looking version of the Rakshasa. I was hoping we had a legendary creature of like that demon in the art, as opposed to old dude with the green choppy blade on his hand. It's cool. I got no problem with Kotis, but I was hoping for a demon. Either way, love the card, love the effect, and yeah, I'm glad other people appreciate Villainous Wealth as much as I do. Ken, you're wrong. Villainous Wealth is great. At number 2, the number 2 most bruh worthy thing in this set, we need to talk about the Sultai for a second. It's going to be a somewhat quick rant. I love the Sultai. I think every time there's I love these, like, whether it's the wedge or the shards or whatever the different sets are that have these like clans and groups and everything, like Alara was one, and then obviously Tarkir is another one. You always end up gravitating to one. There's one that really piques your interest, whether it's because you think that it's awesome and you'd love to live wherever that is, or the complete opposite as Sultai and you just think it's brutal and scary and spooky and wonderful. And it just really speaks to you. And in OG Tarkir, Sultai was so much of that, where learning about Sidisi and just how kind of like conniving and kind of evil Sidisi was, and then getting a preview into Tasigur and seeing that Tasigur is basically King Joffrey and just a huge asshole, and then getting Silumgar being like the most brutal leader possible and so petty to the point that he killed Tasigur and wore him as a chain. To quote the poet Christopher Bridges, something about something hanging from my necklace. Yeah, it's insane. Like, I will never achieve that level of petty. Like, what it is. Look, yeah. So if you haven't, I'll put the art on the screen. Dragon Lord Silumgar, in the art, Tasigur is hanging from his neck as like a prize of, yeah, I'm that petty. And it is, it's wonderful. So much of the art in OG Tarkir was horrific for what was in Sultai, and I'll put some of the art pieces on the screen. It seemed like one of the worst places ever to be, and it was so dark in the sense of they would literally have these like zombie slaves, and where their enemies would be killed, made to serve them eternally, which is just levels of evil beyond belief. And I get logistically why they kind of wanted to move away from that for one of the major groups of a set to have zombie slaves that serve into perpetuity. That does not, yeah, I get part of that, and they wanted to look. I get it from a logistical perspective. honestly, it feels like, if anything, the Sultai are more fleshed out now than they ever were, because in the past it was much more like spooky, scary Sultai, and now it's like you get to see a different side, that now the Sibsig aren't just these like zombie servants. Now they're like honored members of society, almost like Amonkhet-esque the way they treat the Sibsig now in the new Tarkir. And yes, there's still the cults of Silumgar. There's still demonic entities working in the background trying to serve the will of Silumgar and do all the evil shit. It's not like it just magically disappeared. So from a logistical and story perspective, honestly, I think they did a great job. I think it's awesome. My only gripe with this bruh is the art looks too damn happy. There are so many colorful, happy art pieces as part of the Sultai. I need the spooky shit. Give me that dark shit that makes me look and be like, look, I can never be a part of this. This is the scariest thing ever. If I woke up here, I would just need to go hide in a swamp or something, as opposed to like the bright pieces. Yeah, that's just a preference thing. The art looks cool, is pretty. I just want some messed up art. I'm gonna have some of it on the screen. Shout out to Niels Ham, who had some of the best art pieces ever in the OG Tarkir. So bruh, I get it. Y'all are trying to be better. You're trying to, not just be awful and evil. But I need the spookiness, man. And Sultai had it. Bring the spookiness back. Bring Silumgar back. It's probably not the best for the people there, but we'll just move on. At number one, the number one most bro-worthy thing in this set for me is easy. It is a single card that I cannot stop thinking about, brewing around, and I just want to put it in decks, and it is Naga Fleshcrafter. Bruh. Naga Fleshcrafter is 3 and a blue for clone. Effectively, it enters the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield. Already love clones that don't just specify your own creatures, let you get weird, get creative, but the ability on it is where it really counts. Renew for 2 and a blue, where you exile a card from your graveyard, exile this card from your graveyard, and put a +1 counter on target non-legendary creature you control. Each other creature you control becomes a copy of that creature until end of turn, activated as a sorcery. It's effectively the Mirror Weave effect on just a blue creature. You don't have to have white in it now. I love this card so much, like a lot. It's gonna go directly into my Sidisi deck. I won't rant too much about Sidisi in this video. I'll save it for later. But again, it's one of my longest standing decks that I've had since basically the birth of the channel. Getting a set that has so many fun things for it, and they're on flavor. I need a Sidisi update video soon for sure. But yeah, this card is amazing. The thing that makes it so interesting is it feels like clones that can copy anything are always in a specific kind of deck. Very rarely do you just throw a random clone into a deck for no reason. Either you want to copy your own things, or you're in a style of deck that's copying your opponent's stuff, which is cool. On the other side, that Mirror Weave effect, typically if you just have a Mirror Weave, you're not going to throw that into a random deck. Either you want to be a token deck that has very specific targets for it. Having both of these, though, on the same creature gives you that flexibility to maybe be like, hey, it's not perfect as a clone. I don't really want a clone, but I kind of do. But I also don't fully have a deck built around Mirror Weave, but I kind of do. And when you add those together, it's basically, okay, yeah, I can figure something out. And that's the most important thing. Like, in Sidisi as a great example, yeah, I want to copy my opponent's stuff. I want a cool clone. Most of my creatures are not very good. I have a ton of little mana dorks and random value creatures that I just want to get them in the graveyard. They're dredgers, they're this and that. I want to copy y'all's messed up stuff so I don't feel bad about it. But then on top of that, with the activated ability, yeah, I don't necessarily have a combo piece built in, but if I have 20 zombies, who doesn't want 20 Grave Titans? Who doesn't want 20 Hedron Crabs to crack a fetch and just mill somebody out? Stuff gets weird. And that's the thing about this card. That's where I want to say, bruh, put stuff like this in your deck. It's going to create cool stories. Yes, you can have staple number 1, 2, 3 or whatever in this slot of kind of a flex slot in your deck, or you could play something. This is the type of card with this much flexibility and the ability to do such just weird things is going to create awesome stories. And just top to bottom, I love the design on this card. The art is beautiful, everything about it. And to me, it just captures so much of just this set is great. I cannot wait to play with it. And yeah, let's get more weird Naga clones turning into birds. That's the type of messed up art I'm looking for to continue on from number 2. Yeah, right. It's an amazing card. That is gonna do it for this week's video. I really hope y'all enjoyed it. Tarkir looks awesome. I really want to know y'all's thoughts. I haven't really been on the internet a ton to know the general consensus. I've seen positive things though. I mentioned positivity. We'll see if that continues. Let me know what you think. Are there any cards in this set that are making you say, bro, is there anything I missed that is just a mistake or the greatest thing ever? Let me know. Like I said, we'll be in Vegas. Let us know if y'all be there. Excited to see y'all. Until then, stay petty.